Okay, everyone, it's time to open up the mailbag.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, A's fans, and welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about your Oakland A's in their final year, their final month in Oakland before they become vagabonds. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. There's my lower third. You can follow us at Locked On A's on Twitter or whatever it's called now. And you can find me. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. And if you're listening to this show or watching the show on the YouTubes, or if you follow the other show that I host, which is called Locked On MLB, and you want to post something on social media, make sure to use that hashtag EverydayA's. It helps us understand and get to know who is listening to the show. Hey, today's show is brought to you by our friends over at PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. We're giving you $50. PrizePicks, run your game. Okay, a little programming note. We covered the first game of the A's Mariners series the other day. Tomorrow, we're covering games 2, 3, and 4 of the A's Mariners series. So if you're looking for my thoughts on those games, that'll be up. I think it'll be Thursday afternoon, pretty much whenever the final game is over. And hopefully it is a glorious series victory for the A's as they try desperately to derail Seattle's hopes of a playoff appearance and march closer to a seniors, their final year where they'll avoid 90 losses. But if you're looking for me to break down last night's game, that's all going to be on tomorrow's show. I'm opening up the mailbag for today because I've received a lot, and did I mention a lot of comments and emails and people posting everyday A's about many of the shows, but especially the show I did on Vegas and why we are not getting a lot of news from Las Vegas. But I wanted the first one. This one was actually too long to put in the to create a little box for, but I'm going to read it anyway because I thought it was an interesting comment, which I think brings up one of the interesting, for the lack of better words, problems of what's going on in Las Vegas. This is from Bill Siegfried, 6112, who posted this a few days ago on YouTube. Says, I live in Las Vegas. They could build that stadium in 2 years. They just work around the clock, give the people's day off here and there. If they did this, they wouldn't take 3 years to build a stadium. All right, Bill. First of all, I hope you're not a foreman on a job. I like the fact that, and by the way, I like hearing from people from Vegas, just like I like hearing people from Sacramento. I just don't want to have it be everyone from the Bay Area saying, boo-hoo, we're losing our team, because after a while, that gets to be a bit much. That gets to be a bit much emotionally. That gets to be a bit much for me to host a team, and it's just every single day, it's like, oh, everything's sad. So I want to see if we can make lemonade here. Bill Siegfried, first of all, thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. And I'm curious how excited you are specifically about the A's coming there. I'm curious about that. I don't doubt how hard and fast construction could go up in Las Vegas. I don't think that's ever been the issue. Heck, I've been to Las Vegas a couple of times in my life, and I think a new casino was built shortly after I started recording this show. I don't mean my first episode. I mean this episode. Things got up there really quickly. It's like you pour a little bit of fertilizer and a hotel springs out. Now, in terms of giving people a break, you hire a bunch of people and you work in shifts. Yeah, I don't think the question is, do they have enough people who will work hard and work fast to build something in Las Vegas? I don't think that's ever been the issue. And I have no doubt in my mind that if they had the approved design, the money, and the enthusiasm of the city, that a stadium could be built pretty quickly in Las Vegas. I don't think anyone's questioning that. Where's the money? Are they funded? Last time we heard, Fisher was going to some hedge fund or something, trying to, peddling stuff. Is he going to start selling NFTs soon? Sneakers out of the back of his car? And what's the approved design? We saw preliminary designs back in March, which had gigantic question marks in it. Is it too high? Is it too bright? Where's the parking? Where are the concourses? It looked like an AI drawing. It looked like a cutscene from a video game. I do not think the issue here is, do they have the people, the hard workers who will build a stadium? It's those other details like design and approval and money. Okay, let's go. So Robert Ratliff says, A's will land in Vegas. Major League Baseball wants Vegas and gambling, plus every game will sell out in Vegas. Now that's seeing the cup, the soda cup half full. Every game will sell out in Vegas. Well, you know what? I'll say this. I don't want them to move to Vegas. I cannot possibly make that any clearer. And I've been extraordinarily skeptical about Las Vegas as a landing spot for a Major League Baseball team. But if they do go there, and Robert Ratliff, please hear me out. If they do go there, and that's still an if at this point, I hope they become a raucous success. I hope the dump is filled up every night. I hope it becomes one of the go-to entertainment places in Las Vegas. And Robert Ratliff, I hope you're right. I absolutely hope you're right. Gravity Fallout Pines, who's a regular listener, says, the A's literally announced a drone show with Bally's today, which will take place when they implode the hotel. Okay. They're having a drone show. Fine. You think they'd have a fireworks show and be firing fireworks into the hotel, but that's neither here nor there. A lot can be said about putting together shows and events, even having stompers show up to a children's hospital or printing out T-shirts. But until there's an actual design that's approved, money that's secure, and a shovel into the ground, I'm sorry, a drone show does not impress me. Let me rephrase it. A drone show does impress me, but it doesn't make me think, oh, well, then clearly it's a done deal. For God's sakes, they hired drones. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. And PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And now you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to get on the action. And it's available in almost every state, including here in California, also in Texas and Georgia. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks does not hit. So download the PrizePicks app today, use code LOCKEDONMLB, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get the $5 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Thanks for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast hosted by me, your pal Sully. I'm there to give you the national perspective with my sense of humor to get you ready for the Major League Baseball playoffs here in the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with me, your pal Sully. I've got it covered every single day at Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. All right, there was another comment the other day, which I forgot to put into the little banners there, but I'll read to you. It's from John Donovan, 758. He posted this actually a week or so ago. There are very few rain delays in Sacramento, so perhaps they can be used for heat delays, smoke delays. In any case, March to May should be pretty nice. If they make it to October, that'll be awesome weather. Well, but this kind of, we were talking a little bit about the certain things they could do to create awnings and things like that to have it be a little more comfortable to play in. It does remind me of what was going on in Texas when the Rangers moved there in 1972. Right up until 2019, they played in an open air stadium, whether it was Arlington Stadium or the ballpark at Arlington or whatever the hell they called it by the end. By the way, beautiful stadium. I've not been to the new stadium, but I was at the old stadium, which was then called the ballpark at Arlington. Absolutely gorgeous ballpark. And I went there on a night game where it was still really warm. You know, the Dallas-Fort Worth, Arlington area is pretty warm, but it was a summer night, so it wasn't like unbearable. But they couldn't play day games there, and then pitchers wore out because they were panting by the end of the year. That's why, you know, there are all these wonderful designs, everything like that. You got to take into account these players are going to be on the field melting, absolutely melting. But yeah, if they get to October, I love your enthusiasm there. Here's another one that I found interesting. Creeper Pumpkino Explosion. I don't know what that means. 4883. I must have missed the part where Major League Baseball owners approved to move to Sacramento. You're not alone there, buddy. I mean, this whole craziness is just, there are so many things that just seem to be like done underhanded, under the table, sneaky, not really on the level. And what is it? What's your name again? Creeper Pumpkino Explosion. Can I call you Creeper? Can I just call you Creeper? But yeah, it's just like so many things here seem to be so unprepared, and the owners are looking the other way because they want expansion. Now, my father, may he rest in peace, used to say things like, he said a lot of very wise things. One thing he said that I always remember is, you don't solve a problem by creating a problem. You don't solve the A's problem by putting them in a different problem. And they had literally decades to figure this out and to find a buyer for the team. Said this before, but Selig, and believe me, I'm no fan of Bud Selig, but he forced the Dodgers to sell when the McCourts were driving the team into the ground. He saw that having the McCourts run that ball club was disastrous, that the Dodgers, of all teams, was a team that was in financial dire straits, and not the Sultans of Swing kind. And the fact of the matter is they had to bring in a new ownership to say, we got to turn this has to be a marquee franchise. Well, the A's had to have an owner who wasn't going to drive the team into the ground. And if the Fishers sell, this is what drives me crazy. And it's the same thing with the Reinsdorfs in Chicago with the White Sox. If they sell, they could get literally billions of dollars and set their family up to have generational wealth. Sorry, I got to put this down. It's driving me crazy. Their great-grandchildren could go to law school. You know, generational wealth could be had. They clearly aren't enjoying this. The Fishers aren't enjoying this. Just like the Reinsdorf are not enjoying holding on to the White Sox. And by the way, I am going to cover a little bit because some people have asked me. The White Sox seem to be looking at what the A's are doing and thinking, maybe we could do this to get what we want. It's insanity. But the owners are looking away because they want those sweet expansion fees. And they can't do that with the Rays and the A's having their stadium issues. Well, the Rays have, believe it or not, found a solution which might be stupider than the A's, which was build a stadium in the exact same place that caused all the troubles that they've had right now. But the A's are just, at least the Rays have good ownership. The A's are floundering around like the proverbial spider in the toilet. And they need to have someone to come in and at least have a plan. If they're going to stay in Oakland, have someone come, or stay in the Bay Area in one way, shape, or another, have a commissioner come in, force a sale, have the Giants be compensated for the San Jose rights, and get some of that sweet, sweet Silicon Money Valley flowing through the team on Cisco Field in San Jose, which is what should have happened, and everyone would have made grillions of dollars. Oh, you say there's no number called grillions? There's an infinite number of numbers. So eventually we're going to hit grillion. That means that there's a number called a Sully somewhere out there. Let me know if you know what number it is to the 10th power. But yeah, the owners didn't approve this because they don't care. Deal with the A's, deal with the Reds, figure that out, get 2 more teams in here. All right. Let's see. It's Steve with one more E than it needs to be. There's a lot of talk of the A's staying here in Sacramento. I've said countless times there's a huge A's fan base in Sacramento. I'm starting to believe that more and more. I'm starting to believe that the smart thing for them to do is to stay in Sacramento. I mean, look, I want them to stay in Oakland. I can't make that any clearer. If it can't be Oakland, I'd rather it be San Jose. The number 1 for me is Oakland. Number 2 is San Jose. But if those are off the table, Sacramento is becoming an interesting category because it is as I said the other day, it's a quirky city. It's a city with a lot of personality to it. And they might like that kind of lovable underdog, that strange underdog that the A's could be. So there you go. Oh, by the way, we're getting some nice notices for people who live all over the world here. Mark Sujian. And Mark, if I said your name wrong, please forgive me. Mark Sujian, 4570. Greetings from Armenia. You're going to put the A in Armenia. A's does not stand for Armenia, but it could. The Armenia A's. There you go. Since the game starts at 2 a.m., that's where they're playing the Reds. It was way early. We're leaving the Angels in the dust and getting ready to take down the Rangers. 70 wins is a realistic goal. I like how you think, Mark Sujian in Armenia. All right. When we come back, I had someone write me essentially a novel. I had to basically print it out and read it in bed where I got drowsy and I fell asleep and woke up the next morning and finished it. I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of those comments. All right, summertime is winding down, and that means barbecue season's having its last gasp. Stock up on all your grilling favorites and earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. So you won't have to choose between burgers and hot dogs. You can get both. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. Earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, you could earn cash back that you could withdraw into your bank account, PayPal, or even gift cards. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including some of your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. It's time you join the 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta and using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA at Google Play or the App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Ibotta. Let's save some money. Thanks again for making Locked On A's your first listen. check out my other show, Locked On MLB. I'm here to prepare for the Fall Classic. I've got it every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Okay, Joseph Mangione. Is it Mangione or Mangione? 4926 wrote a 48-page comment on one of my videos there. But I'm gonna read you the highlights. I condensed it. So this is the Reader's Digest version of this, and bless you if you understood that reference. They're not going to Vegas. They're not going to Oakland either. They're not going to Vegas. I love that. I love the confidence. I do not think they are, but Joseph is saying it as a positive statement. This is all a shame. It's interesting. If he meant to say a sham, it would also be applicable. And Major League Baseball and the Players Union are just sitting on their hands saying nothing. Again, they're waiting for that sweet, sweet expansion money. But we move on. Major League Baseball needs to buy out Fisher and then sell the team to an ownership committed to making the A's a viable team and stay in the Bay Area. Again, I'll have what he's having. That would be great, but you know what? The time for that would have been 2021 or 2017. You know, this is not a new situation. That's what I was trying to emphasize when I did the tour of all the places, whether it was, Laney College or by the pier or by Jack London Square or in Fremont or in San Jose. There's a reason why I hit all those spots and made an emphasis that this has been going on for decades. This should have happened when Selig was the owner. This should have happened when they had clashed over the territorial rights of San Jose. But I digress and cited. But yes, that'd be great if that would have happened. But I kind of think that ship has sailed. All right. Major League Baseball does not want to give up multi-million-dollar TV rights for the Bay Area and move to a small market like Vegas. Vegas cannot support 81 home games. All right, I think you're on to something there. And I think that's one of the things why I think that keeping the team in Sacramento and the money that you could possibly siphon off from the East Bay, Oakland, Fremont, which of course are a lot closer to San Francisco, but maybe not psychologically. And then Sacramento and Stockton and all those cities, when you see the large, there's a lot of media money that goes to the Angels. It could be a similar situation. And if the A's are smart, and I see no evidence that they are, that if they have a new ownership and they keep the team in Sacramento, to try and market the team to the East Bay as well as saying, don't root for the Giants. We're still your team. We're just have a bigger umbrella right now. And that big umbrella should be over the stadium to give the team some shade. As I keep giving the Fisher some shade. Yeah, I know how the kids talk today. But I think that's the key, is the TV money is better in California than it is in Vegas. As I've said before, the good people in Vegas want to have a team, but they don't want to have it under these circumstances. And I read this, and I may have to check my source, but there may be some other entertainment options in Las Vegas. I'll have to look into that. And if the A's are not good, like, what are you going to do? What are we going to do tonight? My friend Tierney is in Vegas right now, and she's as big a baseball fan as any you'll ever meet. And I'm sure she was, passing through Vegas. Yeah, she'll catch an A's game, but she'll also catch Celine Dion or whoever else is playing there. Hell, if I went there, I want to see Penn and Teller. There are a lot of good entertainment options. If the A's are a 100-loss team, I don't care what bells and whistles and drones you have in that stadium. But Joseph says Major League Baseball is headed to Salt Lake City and Nashville, certainly Nashville. I do think Portland is a possibility. I said this the other day. Portland, Charlotte, Salt Lake City, maybe Austin if they're the first ones in there. Montreal would be a pipe dream because of my own personal sentimentality. A's are staying in Sacramento or back to Oakland. I think Oakland's sailed. As much as I would love to see them stay in Oakland, I don't see that happening. But hey, thanks for the novel. It was good. So, hey, I'm only doing this for a few more weeks now. So if you have any other questions or suggestions, send them along to Locked On A's or on the YouTube channel or wherever. And tomorrow we're going to be recapping the final 3 games of the A's versus Seattle. All right. Reading viewer questions and seeing some people who are thrilled about Vegas and not thrilled about Vegas and watching us from Armenia. This has been Locked On A's. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.